Resonator here. I've got some little charms. They bought these bezels. These are the butterfly ones, and all kinds of different shapes available. But in order to use these, unless you're a really good stone carver, you use this resin tape and put it down so the sticky side is up, and then you put that bezel and just cram it down onto that tape so you don't have leakage. And then you use some UV resin and do whatever colors and stuff you want to do. These moons, see how that little hook is vertical instead of horizontal like these other ones? That means these don't sit well. And I put some black UV resin in, and notice I did have a little seepage, so I'm going to have to cut those or trim them after I'm done doing what I'm doing. That doesn't look too black though, does it? No, it does not. I did use black UV resin. This is a bottle, I was sticking to the bottle. A bottle I got from Counterculture DIY. And I put down a very thin layer, and then I purchased this really cool stuff because of a lady up in Michigan. Her shop is known as No Reason, Just Resin. And she did this, and she was talking about this solar colored dust liquid crystal brushable pen. It makes mood rings or mood charms. So that's what I'm in the process of doing. I already put the black UV resin down, cured it. I put a very thin layer, and then I painted on a little bit of this, and this end is the brush end, and then you, oh my, it rolled. You twist this end to push that yellowish stuff, which is the color sensitive or temperature sensitive colorant, and pushes it out. And I put one layer in. You can see it didn't cover it very well, so I'm going to go over with another layer and then let it dry. I went out with the dog for a little bit to let it dry up, and it did. So now I'm going to put another layer with this marker thing, and then I'm going to do another layer, and then I will seal it with resin. Don't know if I'm going to use UV resin or regular resin. I think I'm going to use regular resin only because the lady up in Michigan, No Reason, Just Resin. Sorry, I don't know your name. I just know the name of your shop. Her first one she did with UV resin, and then her second set that she did a video on, she used regular epoxy resin, and those came out really nice. So I'm wanting these to come out really nice. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, when you use UV resin in something like this that's hollow, so you're curing it, you need to cure both sides. What does that mean? After you've cured this side, flip it over and cure the other side, because if you do not, you are going to have talk about sticky, that tape got me, one sticky mess when you pull it off that tape. It's not a fun thing. I've had that happen to me before. Or if you use UV resin in a mold that's not translucent, like this pink mold, it won't cure. So when you pull it out, be ready for something. You need a mold that's translucent. This one is made for UV resin or epoxy resin, either one. But if it's translucent, you'll be able to cure it from both sides, and then you won't have any problems. So, a few tips there. Cure both sides when you're using UV resin. If you're using this, do a couple layers of it and then seal it. And I will show more of that process when I get there. Now, why in the world do I have these things in an upside down format? Because I got to hang these off the end so that it will try and seal correctly. Now, just sticking it down in the tape isn't going to seal it well, so I use this well, there, that rubber stirring stick, silicone stirring stick, and pushed down really hard, just mashed it down onto that tape to make a good seal. And even then, because these have that hoop oriented the wrong way for me, you have problems. So these came out fine. Can't wait to show you more, and I will. Ta-da! Okay, I just started putting in resin into that first star, and you can see how it's already changing color. This resin that I'm using heats up really fast. It's 1-to-1 resin, art resin. It's supposed to be low viscosity from Counterculture DIY. It doesn't seem too low viscosity, and you can't get it anymore. But it heats up like now. I mean, so you can see the heat already in those stars. Those are kind of cool looking. Now these cherry blossoms, I have some former students that are really into Korean K-pop music and Korean dramas, and so these are not called cherry blossoms, they're called sakura, which is actually Japanese, but apparently it has been used by other Asian countries. These are so cool. They'll be ready in the morning. It's pretty late here. It's 11:30. I was waiting for those things to dry. That paint stuff that I was putting in there. Waiting for it to dry and started watching some TV and watched a couple YouTube videos. People that have put out a new video this week already. So I was watching those, catching up on them. Actually, I'm going to go to the other side. This little pipette, because this supposedly low viscosity resin isn't so low viscosity. It takes a while for this pipette to pull it up into it. I don't want to overfill. I want to get it just... Whoa, come on now. Ran out right before it got there. But I want to get these poured in there before exothermic reaction takes place and I lose this resin. This is such a cool thing. All these little twists and turns in these bezels makes it fun. I didn't want to just try and pour and have it go running over the edge, because it was going too fast for one area and it hadn't made it around the little corners. That would not be good. Oy. Those last two butterflies need another drop each or so. Not as full as the other ones over there. Oh, and there, of course, it went a bubble. Oh, even more. I want to have it domed a little bit. The back side is not going to be domed. That's what I did with the UV resin. I need to get a hurry on so I can pop any of these bubbles with my... Man, this is getting hot already. Pipette's having a hard time getting that resin up. I didn't even mix up very much because I knew I didn't need all that much. This still needs another drop. Look at how thick that is. I need to hurry and get it. It's already stringy. Good thing about these moons, I can go a little quicker. They don't have any, they just have curve. And it's not even hot here right now. Later this summer, it's going to be boiling. Oh, come on now. While that's sucking stuff up, let me grab that lighter because I see this. It was almost too late for that. I squeezed real hard and it is coming up uber slow. I might need to just try and pour because I'm already leaving strings of semi-cured resin. I know what I'll do. I'll use this stirring stick that I used. Goodness. I think I'm going to do something drastic, which would not make too much sense to some. Yeah, that's already done. I'm going to get the heat gun out, and maybe that heat will allow that resin to move a little bit to get back up against. Yeah, it's working. Don't go too far. Okay, maybe that'll fill in. That is crazy. I thought I had plenty of time. I mixed it up, that resin, for 4 minutes. Let it set for a little bit. I didn't go suck out the air bubbles in my vacuum chamber thingy that I've got out in the garage. I didn't do any of that. And just that little bit of time already cured up. That is nuts. If you're going to use that resin, you better move fast. Okay. Well, when these all cure up, which probably will be cured up in about 10 minutes, the way it's going, I'll have an experiment with it tomorrow, most likely, because it's late. Okay, it's the morning, and I went to pull that tape off the back, or pull these off the tape, and it left a bunch of residue. And I have tried using a baby wipe. That didn't leave any help. It didn't give me one bit of stuff. So then I tried right here on this one. Let me zoom in a little bit. And I started having a little bit of success. What I did was I just sprayed a little bit of 91% alcohol, isopropyl alcohol, and then I got a toothpick and I just started, didn't push down hard, but notice it's coming loose. Yay! Now these have a dip in them, so whether I get it all cleaned off exactly perfectly or not, that's really not the idea here, because what I want to do is put a little bit more black. Oh, that was nasty looking down here. That tape left a little, little blue. There. Wipe up that excess. Ta-da! So I'm gonna put a little bit more black UV resin on the back to fill in, because it dips down in, and I want it to be a little bit either more level or maybe have a little bit of a dome effect. Not too much, but I want it to be a little bit better than what it is. So I'll come back to you at that point. Okay, I've got them cleaned off. Got my black UV resin. I'm just going to put a little drop in the middle, and then I will spread that out with a little silicone tool that I have. And this is just to fill up that little indentation on the back of these. Maybe I should work on those right now before they start spreading. Looks pretty good, but it's still got a little bit of a dip. Let me take a little bit off of that one. A little bit more. I don't want to squeeze out of the bottle and have it be way too much. Rather just put what I need. Okay, well, you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, that fills that up. So I'm not going to bore you with details. I'll get back to you in a little bit. Okay, well, I got those 4 with the added UV resin that I needed. Oh, you know what? I got that little shadow on there. I saw a little spot. Where it needs to touch all the way up to the edge. And then I did have a bubble on one of the stars, so I went over it with real quick with a, let me do that again right here. I think I got one. And that gets rid of those bubbles. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cure these up real fast with my 160 watt nail lamp and put it on there for 99 seconds, and I'll come back to you after they're cured up. Okay, well, I'm back. I have the backs all polished up, and I turned them over, and I don't know what blue signifies, but I got my heat gun out, so we'll see what a little bit of heat does to the color on these. Well, that's kind of cool looking. Don't know what that means. What type of mood this charm is in because of all this heat. It reminds me of the old TV sets. When you turn them off, it would, the picture on the cathode ray tube would just turn into this little tiny dot, just getting smaller and smaller, and then finally went away. But it was always fun to watch. Back in the old days when at midnight there were no more shows on TV. And at 10 o'clock, I remember, this is showing my age, I remember them having this commercial at 10 o'clock. Do you know where your children are? I guess that was a way to keep track of what was going on with your kids. Okay, that is 99 degrees on that one. So let's see what happens if I just hold on to it. Get my hand on the other side of the camera. Yeah, that's actually kind of warm. That's why it's called a heat gun. See what effect that, if it changes at all. It's still too warm. Okay, I guess what I'm going to do is I'm going to go throw one of these in the fridge for a couple of minutes and bring it out and show the difference. So I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. What I did was I put that one on the left on an ice pack for about 2 minutes. And then I came back and these others are already changing back. But this one, being on that ice pack, that metal is really cold. Song was out when I was in high school. You're as cold as ice. Okay, let's see if this will work. Put my hand on there. Warm this up. See what happens. Oh, I see some color changing around the edges. Mood charms. These are cool. Those over on the star on the right is yellowish gold. The other star is greenish, and then the sakura is kind of a blue. And this one is going. Look at that. I don't know. I remember mood rings when they first came out, and however they were real popular back in the 60s and 70s, and everybody was like, "Ooh, this means you're in love. This means you hate somebody," and all of this type of stuff. I don't know exactly what they all mean, but so yeah, kind of fun. I'll finish these up, these other ones, and take a picture of them all. So yeah. Well, here they're all done. We got the backs all leveled off. A little bit of a dome to them. And they change colors. I went over with a cloth with a little bit of alcohol on to see if that would do anything, and it caused them to get colder because alcohol is a cooling agent. So, yeah, experiment with that solar paint. Worked really good. Thank you to No Reason, Just Resin. And let me know what you think. Hey, I do have Buy Me a Coffee, so I'll put the link to that. If you are interested in supporting my resin work, why don't you buy me a coffee? I'd appreciate it. Thank you.